Good morning, everyone. Am I audible and visible to you?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, everyone. Am I audible and visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yes, this is first session of the foundation batch for 2022 and the first session of geography module also. So what we'll do today is first we'll introduce ourselves. So my name is Lakshmikant Jayavai, faculty at LUKMAAN IAS for Geography and Environment section. Fine. So I hope you remain dedicated and passionate enough to pursue your dreams till end of the time, end of the result, final result. Yes. So I believe everyone has introduced themselves. Yes. So here in this classroom, first of all, let me tell you that though we are having the online interaction, you may not be feeling like it is a classroom or something, but let me tell you that this is going to be a two-way communication in the classroom. Okay, like offline classroom, we are going to have interaction, and this is very important part of learning process, and therefore I expect. Yes, my voice is not clear. Everyone is not facing same problem.
Yes, sir. Sir, from your side, we are getting a blurring sound, sir, from your voice.
Okay, blurring sound. Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes there can be technical issue. Please bear with us. Yes. So just now I was talking about that there should be two-way interaction. We should feel like a classroom that is going on here. And please always be free to ask question. Your every doubt, even a small doubt from NCERT, any kind of doubt will be cleared in the classroom itself. Do not hesitate to ask any type of question here. Okay. So today's agenda for session 1, first of all, yes, introduction. Just now we had introduction with each other. Now when we are talking about geography as a subject, what we are going to learn here in first part here, geography, is why, what and how of geography. And in that, here we'll learn why geography is important, why should we learn geography, why this is made as a part of syllabus. Then here we'll talk about the part of syllabus, that is what we are going to learn here, and how in this part we will talk about the preparation strategy. Okay, so in this I will tell you how we are going to carry forward with our different sessions, the lecture plan and the reference books, sources to be referred, to be read. All these things we'll talk about here in how part. So yes, after that we'll start with the actual session or the syllabus part from today itself. Fine. So first of all, whenever I talk about anything, I link it philosophically to this concentric circle model. Even I will advise you in your life also, whenever you decide to do something, you should first ask yourself why you are doing that thing. Then when you are satisfied here with the reason, then what? Okay, so what you are going to do for that purpose. Okay, and then how? If we are talking about the example of civil servant, so why you want to be civil servant? First of all, it should be very clear, because that is going to motivate you, keep disciplined throughout your preparation, right? So this should be very clear. Then what can be like, you can be, let's say, opting for UPSC examination or state PCS examination. Different examination are there for civil servant, to become the civil servant. right? So you can opt for any of this. So you are clear now what is syllabus, what is examination pattern regarding this, and how sure the preparation strategy for preparing for this examination. In a similar manner, what we can focus here is about geography. That is why we need to study geography. Why we need to study geography. Here I will tell you two explanations. First is that as a civil servant, you should be aware about geographical processes, features, landforms, and different phenomenons. Okay, so as an IAS officer, suppose you are going to be generalist or IAS officer, and in that you should be aware about, if you are suppose the district collector of any district, and that district is from Chhattisgarh suppose, and it is the mining rich or mineral rich area. So which kind of minerals are there, and yes, what kind of mining is going on, what is the production, and which kind of coal that is being produced there. All these are let's say learned in this geography, the basic knowledge here. Okay, so that's why you should be aware about the basic knowledge of geography, not only about this one, the other aspects also. Fine, so this is first reason. The second reason is that as a part of your syllabus, geography is part of prelims as well as mains. Prelims as well as mains examination syllabus. Prelims as well as mains examination syllabus, and that's why we need to study geography. Though we can say it is the most relevant reason here. Now we can focus on what. What means what is there to study in geography. What is there to study in geography? Yes, now we can understand and look into the syllabus part. How many of you have gone through this syllabus part? Yes, are you aware about the syllabus? Yes, everyone should take printout of syllabus for prelims as well as mains examination. They should have that printout on your study table, always in your bag also. Okay, whenever you are carrying or visiting everywhere. So yes, for prelims examination, there is one line given as a part of syllabus for geography. It states that Indian and world geography, in that physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. Okay, India and the world. So physical, social, economic geography. It is to some extent the vague wording and a general statement is written. However, if we look at the syllabus of geography, it is in depth, in detail, and many subtopics are involved. So in coming lectures, we are going to learn all these physical concepts, social geography aspects, economic geography aspects like minerals, industries, all these aspects we are going to study here. However, especially when we are talking about mains related syllabus, unique points are mentioned here, like salient features of world's physical geography, which is also common to here the physical geography of India and world, prelims as well as mains examination. Then distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent. Okay, it is talking specifically about distribution of mineral resources or natural resources. Then the factors responsible for location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world, including India. So it is talking about both for world as well as India. Okay, then important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activities, cyclones, etc. Etc. means in addition to these phenomena, there can be other phenomena also. Okay, and lastly, geographical features and their location changes in critical geographical features, in bracket including water bodies and ice caps, and in flora and fauna and the effects of such changes. This particular last topic in our syllabus, it talks about largely climate change, global warming and the contemporary changes that are brought in the climate and other such, let's say, hydrological cycle or these features like water bodies, ice caps and the changes that are brought because of climate change. Every year the question is asked from this part of the syllabus also. Okay, so all these aspects for prelims as well as mains, all the concepts that we are going to understand as well as some factual information, we are going to take input here. Fine. So this is syllabus. This should be always in front of you whenever we are learning all the geography points. Now, after understanding what, in addition to this, let me also tell you, in addition to this, what happens is many a times we are not able to understand what is geography. Yes. First of all, let me know that how many of you did not like geography in school years? Yes? I believe many of you may not have liked geography in school years. You know, and that's why you may find it difficult now also. Just let me tell you that geography is very interesting subject if you keep your eyes, ears and mind open, and we will make this learning interesting in the classroom itself. Okay, so what is geography? Now in a layman terms, geography is everything around us. Everything around us is geography. There is rainfall going on, monsoon going on, it is geography. There is mining going on in certain area, minerals, then again it is part of geography. There is some housing projects or road construction and all these things going on in a city, urban development, this is part of geography. If we are talking about, let's say, plantation of trees for watershed management in rural areas, that is geography. If you travel as a tourism destination in a desert and watch some sand dunes in Jaisalmer, that is geography. If you find, let's say, if you visit Manali in Himachal Pradesh and visit those ice caps in those mountains, that is also geography. So basically everything around us, the air we are breathing and the water we are drinking, everything is geography. However, what is the definition of geography or what is included in geography? I know that you may have watched that 3 Idiots movie, and in that professor asked that what is definition? In examination if it is asked, are you going to write everything around us is geography? No, right? So we need to know the specifics here, the scientific definition, or we can say that what is actually included in geography. So broadly there are two parts in geography. There are two parts in geography. One is physical geography. One is physical geography. Second is human geography. These two important streams, and within these two important streams, there are other different streams of geography. For example, in physical geography, it includes geomorphology, which deals with explanation of all physical structures, physical processes and their formations. Climatology, it deals with study of climates of different regions, climatology. Then we have oceanography. It deals with the study of oceans and different processes associated with ocean, water, oceanic water. Then we have biogeography. It includes everything that is related to forests, vegetation, their distribution across the world, right? So including wildlife also. So this is part of physical geography. Now what is included in human geography? You can see here, these are actually the nature based or human interference, or human is not central here in physical geography. In human geography, human is at the center and then the geography is studied. Okay, so for example, if we are talking about economic geography, it includes, let's say, resources, mineral resources, energy resources, other such resources. It also includes industries and their locations, different raw materials that is required for different industries, locational factors for location of different industries. This is economic. Then we have demographic geography. In demographic geography, we learn about the population and its characteristics like population density or sex ratio, or we can say that the distribution of population, age structure, right? So all these aspects also is a part of demographic geography. Then we have the settlement geography. Then we'll have settlement geography, and in that urban and rural settlement. Urban and rural settlements, how these settlements are unique in particular areas and how they are, let's say, different on the basis of climate of that particular region, topography of that particular region. So basically these settlements from time to time are dependent on geographical factors, both rural as well as urban settlements. So this is studied through settlement geography. In addition to this, there is also political geography, and in that geopolitics is studied. Geopolitics is also part of, let's say, political geography. So like geopolitics of Indian Ocean, or we can say that Indian subcontinent, geopolitics of South China Sea. So basically here all these geographical aspects are also part of various political decisions or geopolitical decisions here. Fine. So now you have understood that these two important streams are there, and in addition to these two streams there is one new stream added here. This is called as environmental geography. Environmental geography. Okay, so sometimes it is also called as part of physical geography, but many geographers categorize this as separate branch of geography, environmental geography. So yes, in prelims there is syllabus points separately for environment section, basic concepts about ecology and environment, and that's why environment section for our examination is separated from geography. Actually it is the major ingredient of geography subject or geography stream, environmental studies. However, for our syllabus purpose, for our preparation, this environment section is separated from geography. However, after understanding geography of any particular region, all these concepts, it will be very helpful for learning ecology and environment also. Fine. Now we have understood what is geography or what is included in geography. Basically, it is study of the different features, landforms and processes that we observe on the Earth's surface. It is the study of different landforms, features and processes that we observe on the Earth's surface. Fine. So now after understanding what is geography, the third aspect, that is how to prepare. How to prepare. Okay, so many of you are starting the preparation for the first time. So how geography should be learned? First of all, let me tell you that geography is that subject where conceptual understanding is very important. Conceptual understanding of certain physical phenomenon. and processes. This is very important. First aspect. Second aspect is that some factual information, especially you need to know about the mapping part. Factual information regarding the mapping part. Then for mains examination, resources and industries part. Resources and industries part. So yes, in certain areas, facts, information, this is important, and in certain areas, concepts are important. So if you go through the prelims questions or mains questions from geography section, this is very important. First I talked about syllabus. The second important point, or let's say the physical resource that should be there in front of you on the table, is previous year questions analysis. Previous year questions analysis, right? So in that, if you go through different questions for geography, you will understand some of questions related to conceptual understanding, some of them are information based or fact based from different sections. Okay, now how to prepare for all this? How to prepare? So strategy, we can say here, strategy. In that strategy, first let me tell you the book resources. First of all, you should be reading NCERTs from 6th standard to 12th standard. From 6th standard to 12th standard. Many a times students say that whether it is important to read 6th standard NCERT, very basic, and why should we read that? We are not school students and all these things. It is fine. It will be let's say fun time when you read this 6th standard NCERT. So it will be revision. It will get you acquainted with basic information about geography, right? So 6th standard, 7th standard, 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, it will not be very much difficult to read or understand these NCERTs. Information in some boxes given, important for prelims examination, right? So after reading this, important NCERT becomes 11th standard and 12th standard. Specifically I am mentioning here, there are two 11th standard NCERTs, there are two 12th standard NCERTs. 11th standard NCERTs deal with one, world physical geography, and second, Indian physical geography. Let me again repeat, 11th standard NCERT deals with first world physical geography, and second NCERT deals with Indian physical geography. Both are very, very important. Then 12th standard NCERT, again world human geography and Indian human geography. Two NCERTs, 12th standard, they relate to human geography of the world, human geography of India. Fine. So in this manner, you should prepare these NCERTs thoroughly. Whatever the doubt you are getting in reading those NCERTs, you can ask me directly in the classroom itself. Okay, this is very important. From today itself, you start reading from the 6th standard NCERT. They are readily available on this website in PDF format. If you have not bought them, you can read them online also. Many students are becoming tech savvy, so if you find this comfortable to read on laptop, desktop or your iPad, so you can read online also and take, or let's say highlight that, or notes can be made, right? So after this NCERT resource, you should read GC Leong book. GC Leong, yellow cover book is there, small book is there, but yes, this is important. However, I will advise you to read this book only after reading all these NCERTs and getting concept clear. All the concepts should be clear in the NCERTs, and then you shift towards this GC Leong book. Again, I will give you brief idea about this Joching Leong or GC Leong book. first part of this book is talking about the physical geography part, landforms and the processes. Second part of this book deals with climate, vegetation of different regions. Okay, climate and vegetation and lifestyles of different regions of the world. Okay, so let me tell you that the second part is more important, because first part is largely covered in this 11th standard NCERT. The second part is not that much covered in NCERT, and that's why it is advised to read this G.C. Leong book. Small book is there, a very good colored diagrams, highlighted, all these things are there. So try to read that book after reading this. The third important resource that you should have on your table is Atlas. So every student should have with them Atlas with you in every class that we are having for geography. Okay, from time to time I will ask you to open Atlas and look into different physical features, locations. So we have to locate those features on the map. Okay, so either Oxford Student Atlas or Black Swan, right? So either of them is fine, but preferred is Oxford Student Atlas is good one. Fine. So this should be always there. I will explain that other time, that how to read Atlas, okay, from time to time. Now after these resources, yes, the printed notes, that printed notes of LUKMAAN IAS, very good diagrams, and the compact material is provided to you. I believe you have received the material also, right? Are you having the material? Okay, so yes, you will surely get the material also, printed notes, so you can go through them also, but after reading this G.C. Leong and this one. And then the classroom dictation, because the classroom dictation is altogether different thing, because that will be based on the understanding in the classroom. Fine, so that can supplement your these readings of these books. Fine. So many times now it becomes important how to take input from current affairs for geography subject, right? For geography subject, how to take input from current affairs. Yes. So most important input you can take is for mapping section. So in the Hindu newspaper, just now we talked about this in earlier lecture. You can see here the world page is there. In that world page, many times different oceans like Black Sea or Caspian Sea or Mediterranean Sea, other different locations, features. Suppose there is any volcanic eruption happening in Indonesia or let's say Philippines. These news are covered in that world page. You need to locate different landforms, mountains, plateaus, plains and other such features whenever they are in news, and 2 to 3 lines basic information about them. Suppose it is in news that Nile River is in news. For any other, let's say, political purpose or any other, let's say, dispute that is going on between Ethiopia and Sudan and Egypt, suppose. So you should be aware about Nile River more here from mapping section. Okay, so origin and then how it flows into different countries, enters into Mediterranean Sea, all this information is important. If we are talking about, suppose the Caspian Sea is in news because Russia holds any, suppose, naval exercises in Caspian Sea. That is in news and in that world page. Now you should go into the atlas and look into that Caspian Sea location. Then the bordering countries. Okay, so which are the bordering countries? Yes, Iran is also there, or suppose Russia is also there, then there is Ukraine is also there. So whether different countries, bordering countries are, which countries are bordering countries? Because UPSC has already asked such questions in prelims examination. So for mapping section it becomes important, not only for world but also for India. So different mountains, rivers, lakes and other such features in India. Whenever they are in news, you should mention them down and note them. First thing. Second thing, you can take input here about resources and industries. That means human geography. Resources and industries, because this is actually the dynamic subject and the contemporary developments becomes important and the questions are asked in this manner. Okay, so resources, you can talk about the energy resources, and every year UPSC is asking about solar energy and the government initiatives, right? Last year there was question in GS1 part geography, GS3 part environment and economy section, solar energy, right? So renewable energy or energy resources, which are these? Mineral resources, which are these? The issues associated with sustainable exploitation of these resources. And industries, location of industries, how different industries are located in the country, whether there is any change in the trend of location of these industries. Okay, so textile industry, iron ore industries, or let's say petrochemical industries, complexes. So these industries, important industries, their location, examples, they can be found in current affairs. Fine. So I believe that you have understood how to take input from current affairs and these different resources. Okay. So how we are going to approach in this module? We have provided you the lecture plan. Have you received the mail? Yes. This is going to be the lecture plan for around 38 to 39 sessions. It can vary, it can extend to 1 or 2 sessions also. Why we have prepared this? Because when we go in a planned manner, we complete in a we can say before the deadline or in the deadline. So yes, this is more weightage you can see here given to geomorphology and climatology section, because many such phenomenon and concepts are involved and we have to understand them very thoroughly in depth for prelims as well as mains examination. And then you can see here later on for Indian geography and human geography, that is economic geography and contemporary issues, less sessions are given because that is information based, and to some extent what we are going to do in those sessions is quickly learn into those, take up that information and question answer type of, let's say, approach we'll have there for mains examination syllabus largely, like this industries and locational factors of these industries, resources, use of maps will be there. Fine. So this is going to be the approach in the classroom. Now when we are learning in the classroom, our approach will be again the focus here. First of all, I will explain the concept. You will pay attention to the explanation, and then later on I will provide you the dictation in classroom. Okay, so do not rush into let's say writing whatever we are explaining in the classroom. Fine. So later on in detail dictation will be done on that concept. Fine. So first of all, focus on understanding the concept. Is it all right, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Are you following me, or is it becoming too fast?
Most is compared to the Ansari Sir.
Too fast?
No, sir. Ansari Sir is very fast, sir.
Okay, okay. Fine. Actually, this is the first lecture for this model, right? So that's why I want to make you all comfortable here in the classroom. And yes, as we get acquainted, you will understand my pace of teaching. I will understand your pace of learning also. Fine. Okay. Yes. Now let us start with the actual session here. Yes. Tell me.
Sir, can you please tell about the art of note taking?
Yes, art of notes making. So first of all, you declared itself as it is art, right? Yes, it is art. Not every student is having that art. We can say that it is skill instead of art, and skill can be developed, right? So yes, notes making many times what happens is students do not understand the difference between notes and the classroom dictation, or yes, the detailed explanation of all the syllabus topics. Notes should be very crisp, short, and you can say that use of diagrams, charts, flow charts, maps. So notes should be very crisp and small. Okay, you should be able to carry them with you to the examination hall, right? So they should not be bulky, small and crisp. You know, many times it is also said that if you refer to my notes, you should not be able to understand what is written there. Okay, why it is said like that? Because those notes are only comprehensible to that person only, because you have made those notes from different resources and you know what you have written. Okay, so notes should be made in such a manner. So surely now you have understood. So especially when we are talking about geography, okay, so you can make your one notebook. You can divide that notebook in a let's say 2 parts, physical geography and human geography itself. So whatever the dictation we are having in the classroom, you should make other notebook, because that is in detailed dictation. Okay, that is going to be there always with you for revision purpose. But from that dictation and the other resources that you have just now I have mentioned here, whatever the relevant information you are getting to that syllabus point, small things should be mentioned. Again I am repeating, notes should be those points which you are not, or you are finding it very important and also difficult to remember. Both aspects are important, very important. You are finding that particular information very important for our examination. At the same time, that information is very difficult to remember. Multiple revisions will be required. Okay, that become notes. This is applicable to all parts of your syllabus. Okay, be it geography, polity or anything. Fine. Are you understanding this? Yes. Now, yes, from current affairs also, you have to keep updating all the information on daily basis, either from your current affairs booklet that you will be receiving on daily basis, as well as the current affairs Hindu analysis that you are watching daily. Okay, so how to make current affairs notes? Current affairs notes can be made in a subject wise manner. Different booklets should be there. Okay, so especially when we are not going to have the current affairs largely from history part. Okay, so what you can do is you can add up history, art and culture and geography in one booklet itself. That will be sufficient. The more and more current affairs will be for polity, international relations, economy, environment section, right? So, and science and technology. So these 4 important parts of your syllabus, more and more current affairs will be there, along with some aspects of mains syllabus like internal security is there, disaster management is there. Many times articles will appear in the Hindu newspaper. So syllabus points and small booklet can be there, or paper wise can be also done. Paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4. Right? GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. In this manner, the booklets can be there, and slowly on daily basis you can add up to information or notes in that from current affairs. Fine. So have you understood how to make notes here? Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Sir, actually, totally we have the syllabus in GS Foundations.
Sorry, I am not understanding what you are saying.
Totally, we have the 7 papers, sorry, except one
Yes.
paper and yes.
Yes. Total.
How we can able to follow the papers? Whether we are starting in GS paper 1 marks. Next faculty will come after completion of this paper 1 or intermediate they will come.
Okay. So that timetable will be decided by management. It will be conveyed to you from time to time. Okay. I will not be able to tell you the exact complete timetable for next 10 months. Fine? Okay? Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I believe other doubts are clear now. Should we move towards our today's agenda for geography? Yes. Now let us start with our syllabus points. First topic is origin of the earth and solar system. Yes, again one more question. Is it visible to you whatever I am writing here on the board?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Yes. Okay. Yes. So the first part of our syllabus is origin of the earth and solar system. Now let me tell you that there will not be any direct question either in prelims or in mains examination regarding this part of syllabus. However, it is important to learn about or understand about how earth and our solar system was formed. There are different hypotheses, theories put forward from time to time by geographers, scientists regarding origin of the earth, and we are going to look into important theories and hypotheses first, and then we will understand how earth and our solar system was formed and basic information about our solar system. Okay, so this is today's agenda. Now the different theories can be classified into two. First is classical theories, or we can also call them as traditional theories. The second one, we can say that modern theories. I will first enlist them and then we'll understand in detail. Modern theories and classical theories. So in classical theories there is first Nebular Hypothesis, of Laplace, mathematician, 1759 year. Okay, then we have a year can be different. Let me tell you later the year. Okay, Nebular Hypothesis of Laplace. Then we have 1796. Okay, yes. So Nebular Hypothesis of Laplace is there. Then we have the Chamberlain and Moulton hypothesis given by Chamberlain and Moulton. Actually this hypothesis, it talks about we can say the binary theory, binary star theory, we can say. Binary star concept is involved here. Okay, the third one is interstellar dust hypothesis. Interstellar dust hypothesis. of Otto Schmidt okay, interstellar dust hypothesis. So these are three important hypotheses that we should learn in general studies part. Okay, those who are having geography optional subject, they go into details of different hypotheses. But for general studies, you just need to be aware about different ideas put forward by these scientists. Okay, now in modern theories, first is Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory. It is also called as expanding universe theory. Expanding universe theory. And the second one is steady state hypothesis. Steady state hypothesis by Hoyle. Steady state hypothesis by Hoyle. Okay, so let us go into details of all these hypotheses one by one. I will explain them first and then we'll write down as a dictation about all these theories. Okay, so first theory we are going to talk about is nebular hypothesis. Nebular hypothesis. One more thing, whatever I am writing here in explanation, that document you will also receive that document as a PDF. Okay, so I am not deleting anything here or erasing anything. I am using the next slide, right? So all the document, complete document, it will be mailed on daily basis to you. Okay, so you can refer to that explanation.
Video lectures, sir?
Sorry?
What about video lectures?
Sorry?
Video lectures, sir. Regarding video lectures.
Yes, video lectures also. Okay, recorded video lectures, along with that the PDF of whatever the explanation I am writing here in the classroom. Many times students are not able to watch, or we can say that understand what is written. So in that PDF document it will be very much visible to you. Fine? Yes, nebular hypothesis by mathematician Laplace. Actually, he had modified the earlier theory that was given by Kant, gaseous hypothesis, that was given by Immanuel Kant, German philosopher. Okay, so nebular hypothesis, as the word suggests, it is something that is related to just a moment. Yes, nebular hypothesis, it is related to nebula or formation of nebula. Let me tell you that this nebula is basically a gaseous clouds. Gaseous cloud. So according to Laplace or earlier according to Kant, there was originally a nebula, that is a large cloud made up of, let's say, dust and hydrogen gas. There was large cloud that was made up of hydrogen gas and dust, and this nebula was slowly revolving around its axis. It was slowly revolving around its axis, as well as it was cooling down with time. Now when it was cooling down, what happened is the surrounding region of this nebula, or near the perimeter, the region was getting cooled and therefore getting solidified. Let me show that to you in this image, how it looks like. Look at this image. There was first gaseous nebula. Is it visible to you, everyone? Yes. So this was the gaseous nebula, and then it contracted further, and cooled down, what happened is the outer surface started cooling down and there was one ring separated from the core of the nebula. One large ring separated from the core of the nebula or that gaseous cloud. You can see in the second part, one ring is separated, outer ring. And now this one ring is converted into 9 rings. This one ring is converted into 9 rings in the further phase of evolution, and the core further contracted and became the star. The core further contracted and became the star as we call it today as a sun. And these 9 rings, when further contracted, or we can say cooled down and consolidated into the materials, that formed different planets. Now you can see here further the location and now the present day state, the present day situation. So this was the explanation given by Laplace. Now the only difference between Kant and the modification by Laplace is that Kant said that from that gaseous cloud or nebula directly 9 rings separated. Okay, directly 9 rings separated. However, Laplace said that earlier only one ring separated, and that one ring later on converted into 9 rings. Okay, so this was the modification by Laplace. However, again there are shortcomings. See, all the classical theories, they have shortcomings, and today they are not completely agreed by the scientists. Okay, so what are the shortcomings in this one? The shortcoming is that it is not explained that how 9 rings were formed from one ring. Okay, so which phenomenon that led to formation of 9 rings from one ring, this is not explained. Along with that, the existence of that gaseous cloud, how it came into being at first place, the satisfactory explanation was not provided by this theory. Okay, so these are the limitations of this theory, and that's why this theory was not completely accepted. Okay, but this was one of the earliest explanation of formation of our solar system and Earth. Fine. So this was Nebular Hypothesis of Laplace. First theory. Now, after understanding this first theory, let us go to second one. And the second one talks about the planetesimal hypothesis of Chamberlain and Moulton, given in 1900, in year 1900. Okay, so planetesimal hypothesis, actually it talks about the we can say that associated star or binary star concept was evolved through this theory. It said that there was solar nebula or sun was there and a wandering star with the size of 3 times that of Mars came near to sun in this manner, like trajectory. Okay, and because of that, what happened is, due to gravitational attraction force, some mass of this sun was separated from the sun. Some mass of the surface of the sun was separated from the sun, and this was a cigar shaped material that was detached from the sun. The cigar shaped material that was detached from the surface of sun. Now this sun, let's say star, this was also called as Proto Star by many scientists in this binary hypothesis. Proto Star. okay, or proto sun, it is also called as proto sun. So this came and left like this in trajectory. After that, this ejected or departed material started revolving around sun like this, in this manner. Okay, so this cigar shaped material today actually consists of 9 planets or 8 planets. When it cooled down, that material cooled down and formed different planets. Okay, and now they are revolving around the sun. This is actually the planetesimal hypothesis of Chamberlain and Moulton. Okay, so in general language, you should understand the crux of these theories. Crux of these theories. Many times what happens is students tend to refer to Savindra Singh book or Majid Hussain book, which are to be used by geography optional subject students. Okay, let me again repeat here, it is not at all important to refer to these books, Majid Hussain Indian Geography or Physical Geography Savindra Singh. You will not be able to understand what is written there. Very difficult language and concepts that is specifically for geography optional students. Okay, so in general understand the crux of these theories. Here we have understood planetesimal hypothesis of Chamberlain and Moulton. Okay, now this was the new concept added. Now after that, one more modification, that is interstellar dust theory. Third one, interstellar dust hypothesis. Actually, this is modification of Laplace concept of nebular hypothesis. Modification of Laplace concept of nebular hypothesis, right? And this was given in 1950. This was given in 1950. According to this theory, as the name suggests, you can see interstellar dust theory. The focus here is that there was existed a nebula in the original phase, and this nebula was consisting of dust and hydrogen gas. It consisted of dust and hydrogen gas. Later on, when this nebula cooled down, what happened is it got converted into small planetesimals, small planetesimals through the process of accretion, collision and accretion, through the process of collisions and accretions. Okay, so small materials through the gravitational force of attraction started colliding with each other, and because of that there was accretion of small materials and they formed bigger materials or planetesimals, and now they are together, let's say in existing position, they are planets. They are planets in our solar system, and the core of that gaseous nebula is now presently star, that is sun, in our solar system. So this is the explanation that is given by Otto Schmidt in this interstellar theory. Okay, Otto Schmidt in this interstellar theory, interstellar dust theory. Fine. So these are classical concepts. Why they are called as classical? Because they are old concept, or we can say that at present they were based on the observational study. Okay, and not any scientific basis is not there. However, the modern theories, now if we shift towards modern theories, the most important one is Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory or expanding universe theory. Now you can understand from the name, the universe is expanding. Now in our school books also they mentioned about this Big Bang theory, right? Not about the classical theories in detail, but they in detail explained this Big Bang theory. So yes, Big Bang theory, not bag, right? So as the name suggests, expanding universe, Edwin Hubble in 1920 through telescopic study had provided some proof that universe is expanding and the distances between galaxies is increasing. And yes, the present day various observations through telescopes, modern telescopes, it is supporting this fact that the distance between the galaxies is increasing. Okay, so Big Bang theory or expanding universe theory finds supports from today's scientific community. Okay, so let us understand what happened in this theory, actually how it explains the origin of the earth and the solar system. Let us take the example of, we can say, or otherwise let me show you the image itself that is given in NCERT like this. There was one tiny atom which is called as singularity. Okay, so tiny ball, it is also called as tiny ball, singularity. Okay, so this tiny ball was having, first thing, extremely small volume, second thing, extremely high density, and third thing is extremely high temperature. Extremely high temperature. Okay, so this particular tiny ball, somewhere around 14 billion years ago, this let's say or around 17 billion years ago, this exploded in a violent manner. It exploded in a violent manner, and within few minutes the universe expanded at huge rate. The universe expanded at huge rate. So it led to formation of different galaxies, and over the time period the distance between galaxies increased. You can see earlier there was less distance, at present there is increased distance between these galaxies in this manner. So you can see here from the NCERT diagram or that image, very well explains like this. You can see three-dimensionally drawn image here. Now there was a singularity here, and the violent explosion happened, and within short period of time the matter started to form, and then you can see the distance between galaxies over the period increased. So in support of this theory, there is one experiment which is explained here, that suppose there is a balloon which is not inflated with gas or air at present, and let us mark some points on that balloon when it is not inflated. You can imagine this, right? Are you getting this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Suppose there is uninflated balloon, and let us mark different points on that uninflated balloon, and now let us fill that balloon with air. This inflated balloon will surely have those dots at farther distances or larger distances than the earlier ones. Or when we are inflating that balloon, you can see the distance between them is increasing. But there is one shortcoming in this example. What is that? Can you tell me? There is
At some point of time, the balloon will burst.
no. The major shortcoming in that experiment is that you can see the size of dots also increasing. The size of dots also increasing, as well as the distances between the dots is also increasing. Can you imagine this? Just try this at your home. Okay, you will understand this. However, it is observed that though the distance between galaxies is increasing, the size of galaxies is not increasing over the period of time. That means the size of dots was increasing on balloon. However, actually the size of galaxies is not increasing, though the distance between the galaxies is increasing. Actually, that's why that experiment is partially true in support of Big Bang theory. Fine. So now you have understood this Big Bang theory, how stepwise manner all these things happen. Okay, so the expansion in initial minutes was very at faster rate. Later on, this expansion slowed down. You should be aware about that fact also. Fine. So this was about Big Bang theory. After understanding this Big Bang theory, there was one more hypothesis in modern theories, that is steady state hypothesis. Actually, this steady state hypothesis was given just to oppose Big Bang theory by Hoyle. As Big Bang theory has said, there was one singularity, that is tiny ball, it exploded violently and the matter came into being. However, the steady state hypothesis says that the universe was more or less same at each time of history. Throughout the history, we can say, throughout the history, the universe has been more or less similar. It is not that expanding or contracting. Okay, so in support of that, Hoyle gave some explanation, but that is not important for our examination here as a geographer. That is not much important. But largely the scientific community at present supports Big Bang theory as a good explanation for origin of Earth and our solar system at present. Fine. So have you understood any question regarding any of the theory that you have not understood? Any concept? Have you understood all the theories?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. So after understanding these theories, let us try to understand the formation of stars and planets, or we can say our solar system. Formation of solar system, our solar system, sun and planets. Let us try to understand this concept here. Yes, first of all, formation of sun or the star. Yes, now we can understand that when the universe was formed, the matter and energy was unevenly distributed in the universe. It was unevenly distributed, the matter and the energy, and therefore there was huge density differentiation created in the university, right? As the matter is concentrated in some area, density is more in that area, and suppose the matter is widely spread in other area, density is less in that area. This density differentiation created differential gravitational forces. This density differentiation created different gravitational forces, and because of that what happened is the materials started getting attracted to each other and larger bodies started to form. Like this sun was actually the cloud of that means we have to understand the galaxies which are made up of many stars. They started forming because of this density differentiation. Because the matter was concentrated in certain area, galaxy was being formed in that region. Okay, and now once the galaxy, that particular galaxy is being developed, basically galaxy consists of many such clouded, or we can say clouds of dusts. Okay, many such clouds of dust, or let's say localized lumps of these clouds, and when they cool down, they form stars. When they cool down, they form the stars at present. So basically originally there was, we can say, the disk, or we can say the cloud of dust was formed, and density differentiation within that cloud led to formation of galaxies. Now these galaxies further had localized lumps of dust, and that dust again getting concentrated after cooling down, forming the stars within the galaxy. Now what is the name of galaxy where our solar system is placed? Yes, Milky Way. Yes, correct. So Milky Way, Akash Ganga जिसको बोलते हैं हम, right? So yes, Milky Way is the galaxy wherein our solar system we are actually located. So such galaxies with many such stars, and many of these stars are having their own solar system, we can say different combinations of planets revolving around them. Okay, so yes, different missions are actually exploring all these different stars and planets. In current affairs, in news, we come across such news. Okay, now after understanding formation of sun, formation of planets, okay, so when the sun was formed, actually it had the dust around it, and when it was cooling down, the material, or we can say outer material, and inner core got separated. Try to understand this concept. Outer material, in that localized lumps of dust, this got separated, and inner core got separated. Inner core is actually at present the sun, while the outer material, which is cooled, now is forming the planets. How these planets are formed? Through this outer material. This outer material, when it got cooled, they form the small planetesimals. Small planetesimals. And these planetesimals, through the process of accretion, came together to form larger bodies called as planets. This is how we have to explain the formation of our solar system, sun as well as planets. Again, let me repeat this for you. The sun was formed, or we can say sun is the part of galaxy. So how these galaxies are formed? They are formed through the density differentiation, as the matter and energy in the universe was unequally distributed, and because of that different galaxies were formed. In those galaxies, different we can say localized lumps of gases, they were present, and these localized lumps of gases later on form the stars within the galaxies. Now when we are talking about our sun, it is also let's say localized lumps of gas, and over the period of time the inner core of this localized lump of gas got separated from the outer material, and outer material got solidified, and small planetesimals were formed. These small planetesimals, they collided and accreted to form the larger bodies. They are at present called as planets. They are called as planets. Fine. Okay. So this much information is sufficient in explanation of formation of planets. Now after understanding this, we can understand or take input for our solar system. We all know that our solar system consists of yes, how many planets? Quickly. 8 planets. Okay, how many moons? Around 63 moons are there, and lot of we can say that asteroids and comets. Okay, our solar system consists of these many. Now among these 8 planets, they are divided into 2. First, inner planets, and second, outer planets, and they are having different characteristics, and that's why they are categorized into two groups, inner planets and outer planets. Let us try to understand the characteristics, why they are categorized like this. Inner planets, the 4 planets, inner planets, they are Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. Outer planets, they are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Okay, they are also called as, inner planets are called as terrestrial planets. Outer planets are called as Jovian planets or gas giants. Why they are called as terrestrial planets? Because these planets or their surfaces, they are made up of rocks and metals. Largely they are made up of rocks and metals, and that's why terrestrial planets. Here the Jovian planets, they are made up of, outer surface is largely gaseous, and that's why they are called as gas giants. Okay, so this is the major difference. You have to understand that the primordial atmosphere of these planets, was wiped out by the solar winds or solar flares. Because these solar winds were very strong near the sun, and that's why these planets near the sun, their atmosphere was wiped away. by the solar winds. However, these Jovian planets, or these planets which are located far away from the sun, where solar wind was not sufficiently strong, and that's why we can understand the primordial atmosphere or this gaseous atmosphere still exists there. Okay, when I say primordial, that means original, which was originally present. Our Earth's atmosphere at present was not the original atmosphere. Okay, there was different kind of atmosphere originally that was called primordial atmosphere, and that was wiped by this solar winds. Again, concept solar winds, it is we can say a very difficult for you as a first lecture to get lot of information, but let me tell you that slowly you will understand and get the wisdom. Okay, sometimes in the life of UPSC aspirant, we call it as like enlightenment. Okay, what enlightenment, like Buddha has some kind of light behind it, right? So enlightenment. So similar kind of enlightenment for UPSC aspirant happens at some point of time in the preparation stage. Oh, this is like this. Oh, I now got this concept. Okay, so something like that. So you will get this feeling somewhere throughout this stage. So don't worry about let's say the loads of information that you are getting. Don't worry about this at present. Fine? Yes. So actually solar winds we are talking about, or solar flares, these are actually the charged plasma material. Okay, charged plasma material emitted from the outer surface of the sun, that is called as corona. Not this corona. This is different corona. At present the world is facing this, that is different coronavirus, that is coronavirus. Okay, here we are talking about the outer surface of the sun, that is also called as corona of the sun. From that part, such solar flares or solar winds are emitted. They are very strong near the sun, and therefore the inner planets, the atmosphere, primordial atmosphere, this was wiped out. The second reason is that these planets are very small in size as compared to these planets, and therefore the gravitational field of these planets was less to hold on to that atmosphere or the gases. Oh no, what happens here is the size of these planets is huge, and therefore the gravitational field is also high. It holds on to that atmosphere, right? Here the solar winds become more stronger than the gravitational field of these planets to hold on to that atmosphere. Okay, so that's why the primordial atmosphere is wiped out, and now they are bare rocks, or we can say terrestrial planets, and these are still the gas giants. Fine. So this is the major difference between these two planets. These planets are actually divided in between them, like between Mars and Jupiter there is asteroid belt. So factual information, again let us go back to the 6th standard NCERT. In 6th standard NCERT there is this image. In 6th standard NCERT there is this image, and wherein you will get all the basic information about our solar system. That's why I was telling you to read this NCERT. You can see here the duration of revolution and rotation, everything is mentioned. So period, you can see Mercury, one orbit around the sun 88 days, and one spin on the axis, that is rotation, 59 days. In similar manner for all, let's say, planets, this is mentioned here, right? So you need to be remembering all these things. Then inner planets, it is also mentioned very close to the sun, they are made up of rocks. Outer planets very far away from the sun, and they are huge planets made up of gas and liquids. So it is mentioned in 6th standard NCERT itself. So try to know the basic information about this solar system. Will not go into the schooling level. Okay, 6th standard NCERT is very basic. You will learn this, understand this when you are reading this NCERT, because very simple things are mentioned here. Now, after understanding the inner and outer planets, you can see here the inner 4, asteroid belt, and the outer 4. Okay, this asteroid belt, many a times students may not have understood that in school times. Asteroids are basically the small rocky substances, but they are not of the size of planets. They are very small as compared to the planets, and they are still revolving around the sun in a definite path. Okay, similar to planets, they are also revolving around the sun, and much of the asteroids, they are concentrated in this belt. That's why it is called as asteroid belt. Okay, much of the material or these rocks, they are concentrated here in this asteroid belt. Okay, so you should be aware about the location of asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Between Mars and Jupiter. Fine? Okay, so after understanding this information about the solar system, now we also need to understand the formation of our only natural satellite, that is Moon. Formation of our only natural satellite, that is Moon. Right? So yes, we should be aware about this also. The only plausible and acceptable explanation is that the event called as big splat, or we can say giant impact, also called as giant impact. This event actually happened when the earth was, let's say, immediately formed. What happened here is a body which is of the size of Mars, we can say, that hit the earth when the earth was in a nascent stage, and some small part of the mass of the earth from its surface got detached, and it started revolving around the earth later on. So that's why we can understand that the only natural satellite of the earth is Moon, and acceptable explanation is this event, big splat or giant impact. Okay, so yes, this is all the basics about the formation or origin of the solar system or the earth. Okay, now after understanding this, after understanding the formation of earth, solar system and the moon, we can also know about the evolution of the earth. Briefly, I will explain this evolution of the earth. Now this can be learned into 3 parts. First, evolution of lithosphere, then evolution of atmosphere, and evolution of biosphere, or we can say life on the earth. How this evolved after formation of earth? There are different processes involved here. Which are these processes? First of all, when we talk about lithosphere, when the earth was formed, the material that for the earth's interior, that was present in earth's interior, there was continuously changes in the temperature and pressure was happening. as the outer surface started cooling down and inner part of the earth was still hot, and therefore through the process of density differentiation, through the process of density differentiation, that is high density material moved towards inside of the earth and low density material moved towards outer side of the earth's surface, and low density material got solidified on the outer part, that is today called as crust, and high density material concentrated at the core. So in this manner we have understood through this density differentiation process at present different layers of materials of different densities are formed, that is crust, mantle and core. Crust, mantle and core. Tomorrow we are going to learn about this structure of interior of the earth. Just now know about these different terms. Crust, outer one, intermediate or middle one is mantle, and the inner part is core of the earth's interior. Okay, so through process of differentiation these layers were formed, and this is how the lithosphere, that is the interior of the earth, or we can say lithosphere is up to 400 km from the surface, that is lithosphere. So this was formed, this lithosphere was formed. Now after that, evolution of the atmosphere. This is very interesting and important also. Evolution of present day atmosphere. There are different stages involved here, 3 stages. Stage 1, this stage 1 involved wiping out of primordial atmosphere, from the earth's surface, by strong solar wind. This was stage 1. So primordial atmosphere, which had different composition of gases from the present day atmosphere, this was wiped out by the solar wind. The second stage, that is stage 2, consisted of process of degassing. This degassing, that means when the earth started cooling down, this led to outpouring of gases and water vapors. These water vapors were also added to the atmosphere through volcanic eruptions on the earth's surface. Water vapors from the interior, they were coming up and getting added into the atmosphere. This is how the new composition of the atmosphere was getting formed from the interior of the earth's surface. Okay, and the stage 3 is modification of this atmosphere, further modification of composition of atmosphere, largely through photosynthesis process. Fine. So over the period of time, first of all, the plants flourished in the oceans, and through photosynthesis process the oceans flooded with the oxygen, and when the oceans got saturated with the oxygen, automatically the oxygen started flooding into the atmosphere. Okay, so this is how the present day oxygen in the atmosphere, in the primordial atmosphere, the oxygen percentage was very less. Now the present day percentage of atmosphere oxygen in atmosphere, actually it is the result of photosynthesis process, that is modified atmosphere through these processes. So that means the present atmosphere is the result of 3 different stages in the evolution. You should remember this, okay? And you should remember the degassing process that happened and the wiping out of primordial atmosphere. Now after understanding this, you should also understand the evolution of life, or we can say biosphere also. Now evolution of life started to happen on the earth surface in recent years only. Okay, so whatever the evolution of life happened, that it happens in recent time. Now scientists call the life that came into being on the earth surface, it was a complex chemical reaction through which the molecules were formed, compounds were formed, and later on they assembled as a life unit. Okay, so this is how the life started to begin on the earth's surface, right? So this is brief information actually. Okay, so whatever we learned today, this is the basic information and understanding that you should have before starting studying actual syllabus of geography. Okay, because from tomorrow onwards what we are going to learn is actual syllabus, like interior of the earth, then structure of the interior of the earth, then seismic waves, earthquake waves, their studies. All these are now the concepts that we will understand from tomorrow, but this basic information for that purpose was needed. Okay, any question regarding this? Yes?
Sir, I think this part was important for prelims or mains.
Sorry?
Is this part important for pre and mains? It's not included in the syllabus, right?
See, the earlier theories that we learned, that is not important, but Big Bang theory or the modern theories, you should be aware about that. And then later on we learned about the evolution of the lithosphere, atmosphere and life. These processes, you should be aware about those processes. That is important for prelims and mains examination. Conceptually actually, okay, you should be aware about this because applied questions can be asked in prelims examination. Applied questions in a sense, you should be aware that oxygen was not present in the similar proportion in the earlier atmosphere or primordial atmosphere. How the present day atmosphere evolved, was it the same, which processes resulted or contributed to the formation of present day atmosphere. So this conceptual understanding is important. Okay.
Okay, sir. So the Big Bang theory and the evolution of atmosphere and
Yes. Yes.
that is important. That should be noted down.
Yes, that should be noted down because yes, information about the planets and the revolution time, no question will be asked even in prelims or mains examination. Just to make geography learning fun through the maps or watching those images, learning about the universe or solar system, I wanted you to read that 6th standard NCERT, and in that first chapter itself this diagram is there. Fine. Okay, any other doubt? Have you understood the concepts? Because that is much important here. Fine. Okay, so shall we write down? Before writing down, first of all, what we'll have the approach is, first of all, we'll write down the mains questions and then we'll write down the dictation of these topics. Okay, what kind of possible questions we can expect, or even try to write as a practice question also, right? Yes, write down. Topic name is origin of the earth and solar system, right? So question 1, write a short note on Big Bang theory. Write a short note on Big Bang theory. Second question, differentiate between terrestrial planets and Jovian planets. Differentiate between terrestrial planets and Jovian planets, and explain the reasons for changes in the atmosphere of these planets. Explain the reasons for changes in the atmosphere of these planets. Next question, explain the stages involved in the formation of present day atmosphere of the earth. Formation of present day atmosphere of the earth. One more question you can write down. Explain the following processes. Explain the following processes. In that, first, degassing. And second, differentiation. Okay, so yes, later on at home you can try to write them on one page, each question. Try to write from the understanding. Third question. Yes. Yes, explain the stages involved in the formation of present day atmosphere of the earth. Present day atmosphere of the earth. Okay, now let us write down from the first part itself. Classical or traditional theories of origin of the earth. Classical or traditional theories of origin of the earth. Okay, so in that, first, nebular hypothesis. Nebular hypothesis. In that, we'll write down points. First, it was proposed by mathematician Laplace. It was proposed by mathematician Laplace in 1796. proposed by mathematician Laplace in 1796. Second point, according to this hypothesis, planets were formed out of a cloud of material. Planets were formed out of a cloud of material associated with a youthful sun. Which was slowly rotating along its own axis. Over the period of time, next point, over the period of time, one ring made up of outer solid material got separated from inner core of the nebula. Next point, further this ring led to formation of 9 rings of the material. This ring led to formation of 9 rings of the separated material, which later on formed 9 planets of our solar system. 9 planets of our solar system. Okay, now please wait. In addition to this information, I am telling you, as these proposals were the old ones, you should be aware about that earlier there were total 9 planets were recognized. But since 2006, Pluto, the 9th planet, was de-recognized as planet and it was categorized as dwarf planet. Okay, so there was meeting of Astronomical Union and then International Astronomical Union, and they decided that this Pluto does not fit into the criteria to be called as planet, and therefore they called it as now categorized as a dwarf planet. So at present there are total 8 planets. We should be very clear about this. Fine? Okay. Now the next theory is second one, planetesimal hypothesis. Planetesimal hypothesis. By Chamberlain and Moulton. It is given by Chamberlain and Moulton in 1900. According to this hypothesis, next point, according to this hypothesis, a wandering star approached the sun. A wandering star approached the sun This resulted into a cigar-shaped extension of material. This resulted into a cigar-shaped extension of material separating from the surface of sun. Separating from the surface of the sun. Next, as the passing star moved away, as the passing star moved away, the material separated from solar surface. The material separated from the solar surface continued to revolve around the sun. Continued to revolve around the sun and further condensed into planets. Further condensed into planets. Okay, so this was planetesimal hypothesis. Now the third one is interstellar dust hypothesis. Interstellar dust hypothesis given by Otto Schmidt. Given by Otto Schmidt. It is the modified version of nebular hypothesis. It is modified version of nebular hypothesis. According to this hypothesis, the sun was surrounded by solar nebula. The sun was surrounded by solar nebula containing mostly hydrogen and helium. Containing mostly hydrogen and helium along with dust. Along with dust. Next point, the friction and collision of particles. The friction and collision of the particles led to formation of disc-shaped clouds. Disc-shaped cloud and planets were formed. And the planets were formed through the process of accretion. The planets were formed through the process of accretion. Okay, so these were traditional theories. Now we will talk about the modern theories also here. Yes, you could draw this in that Chamberlain hypothesis. Okay, so in that you can draw like another star is coming near the sun and the cigar shaped material is getting detached from the solar surface and then started revolving like this, right? So you can draw this. Let me give you some time for that. This is also called as Proto Star or Proto Sun. Okay, and this is actually Sun. And the path of this star is like this, and because of the gravitational force, it is detaching some material from the Sun surface, and that part is further revolving around the Sun and getting condensed into the planets. Okay, now the Big Bang theory. In modern theories, first one, Big Bang theory. Big Bang theory. Okay, fine? Yes. In modern theory, the first one is Big Bang theory. Let us write down about Big Bang theory. It is also called expanding universe hypothesis. It is also called as expanding universe hypothesis. In 1920, Edwin Hubble provided evidence that the universe is expanding. Provided the evidence that universe is expanding. That is as time passes, the galaxies move further and further from each other. As time passes, galaxies move further and further apart. Then the stages in the development of universe. Stages in the development of the universe. First, stages in the development of the universe. First, initially all matter existed in the form of tiny ball, in bracket singularity or single atom, you can write down singularity or single atom, tiny ball with very small volume, comma, indefinite temperature and indefinite density, or we can say infinite density. Next stage, 13.7 billion years ago. 13.7 billion years ago, Big Bang event happened. Big Bang event happened when the tiny ball exploded violently. When the tiny ball exploded violently, leading to huge expansion. Tiny ball exploded violently, leading to huge expansion. Next, rapid expansion happened. Rapid expansion happened within first few minutes of the event. Rapid expansion happened within first few minutes and thereafter it slowed down. Within few minutes and thereafter it slowed down. It slowed down. Yes, so you can draw this diagram in this manner also, because in 2 dimension you will not be able to show like this. You can simply write like this. This is galaxy 1, this is galaxy 2, and then you can go on showing how there is increase in distance, or it can be drawn like this also. Okay, spiral, look like galaxy. Fine. So yes, try to draw this diagram in support or explaining this Big Bang theory. You mention the characteristics of tiny ball here like this. You mention the event timing in that diagram itself. In geography, the importance of diagram is very high. It is also said that any answer without diagram or map in geography is not at all relevant. Okay, so it is actually said to geography optional students. So even in GS geography, it is expected that in physical geography you draw the diagrams. In human geography, along with diagrams, maps are also important. Okay, yes. The second theory, is it completed? Yes, everyone? Second theory, it is talking about, let's write down, steady state hypothesis by Hoyle. Steady state hypothesis by Hoyle. Yes, it considered universe to be roughly same. It considered universe to be roughly same at any point of time. At any point of time. Okay. Now write down note. Whenever we are writing note, that becomes important point. Okay, and at the same time additional point. So here you are writing note. Scientific community presently favors. Scientific community presently favors Big Bang theory for the explanation of origin of the earth, for the explanation of origin of the earth and solar system, as more and more evidences becoming available about expanding universe, okay. Now, formation of stars and planet in our solar system. Formation of star and planets. Yes, first of all, formation of stars. In that, in the early universe, there was uneven distribution of matter and energy. In the early universe, there was uneven distribution of matter and energy. This created density differentiation and gave rise to differential gravitational forces. Next, it led to matter getting drawn together. And further development of galaxies. Next, a galaxy starts to form by the accumulation of hydrogen gas. A galaxy starts to form by accumulation of hydrogen gas in the form of very large cloud, called nebula. Next, eventually growing nebula develops localized clumps of gases. Clumps of gases. These clumps or these localized clumps leads to formation of stars. This process of formation of stars started about 5 to 6 billion years ago. Now we will write down about formation of planets. Formation of planets. The gravitational force within localized lumps of gases. The gravitational force within the localized lumps of gases led to formation of core to the gas cloud. Formation of core to the gas cloud, which can be called as inner core. Okay, core to the gas cloud, and huge rotating disk of gas and dust. And huge rotating disk of gas and dust develops around the gas core. Develops around the gas core. So that means the outer material got separated from the inner gas core. Next, the gas cloud gets condensed. Gas cloud gets condensed, and the matter around the core develops into small rounded objects called planetesimals. Through the process of accretion, next point, through the process of accretion of these small planetesimals, through the process of accretion of these planetesimals, fewer larger bodies in the forms of planets are formed. In the form of planets are formed. Okay. Now let us talk about our solar system. Our solar system. It includes total 8 planets, 63 moons, several asteroids and comets. Planets were formed about 4.6 billion years ago. Planets were formed about 4.6 billion years ago. That is also the age of our Earth. Earth was also formed 4.6 billion years ago. Okay. You know how to remember these planets? I guess everyone remembers names in a sequence, right? Or should I tell you the shortcut how to remember this? You know, actually everyone can form such kind of shortcut to remember in sequence, like initials MVEM JSUN. Okay, so you can remember one statement like, my vision engages me to join and serve United Nations. You can remember like this. My vision engages me to join and serve United Nations. So in this manner you can remember, or you can create your own short form. Just the confusion generally happens between Uranus and Neptune, last two ones. Generally we remember the sequence of inner planets, right? So need not to worry about that. Fine. So yes, planets are further categorized as inner planets and outer planets. Inner planets and outer planets. Now make a table like this. Already your, let's say, notes or all these things should be in such a manner that can be directly used in your examination. Okay, so prepare this table, because you will not find in the table manner in any particular reference book this information. So this is how notes should be there. Okay, so inner planets, name these planets first for Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and here Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. Uranus and Neptune. Okay. Now in inner planets you can write down, they are also called as terrestrial planets. Also called as terrestrial planets. Terrestrial planets. Because they are formed of rocks and metals. Because they are formed of rocks and metals. Here in this part you can write down, they are called Jovian planets or gas giants. Jovian planets or gas giants. Because they have thick atmosphere around them, mostly of helium and hydrogen. Mostly of helium and hydrogen. Okay. Yes. Now after this differences, next point you can write down. This is completed now. You can write down note. Note. Solar winds wiped out. Solar winds wiped out the primordial atmosphere from the terrestrial planets. Primordial atmosphere from the terrestrial planets, as they were most intense near the sun. As they were most intense near the sun. Also, terrestrial planets are smaller in size. Terrestrial planets are smaller in size and thus have lower gravity. To hold on to escaping gases. To hold on to escaping gases. Okay, note is completed. Next point, formation of moon. Formation of moon. Present day scientists believe that formation of moon is an outcome of present day scientists believe that formation of moon is an outcome of giant impact, which is also described as the big splat, okay, SPLAT. Next point, a body of 3 times the size of Mars, collided into the earth shortly after earth was formed. A large part of earth separated from the earth's surface, and continued to orbit earth, and form present day moon, about 4.4 billion years ago. Okay, so yes, evolution of the earth, tomorrow we'll write down this part also along with the other topic that we are going to learn tomorrow, interior of the earth. Okay, so is it becoming too fast or too slow, or the pace is right? Fine. Other students?
Medium, not fast, not slow.
Okay, so yes, it is challengable, it is fine.
Yes.
Okay, yes, your feedback from time to time is very important, because accordingly we'll mold our pace, our time, speed. At the same time, the dictation is fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, fine then. So yes, tomorrow which topic we are going to learn? 11th standard NCRT, that chapter interior of the earth. Okay, so before tomorrow's session, I would advise you to read that chapter. Along with 6th standard NCRT, you start reading those NCRTs, but 11th standard NCRT, fundamentals of physical geography, that is world geography, world physical geography. So in that, the interior of the earth, that topic is there, chapter is there. So read that chapter before tomorrow's session. Why I am saying that? Because after that session you will get more insights, and whatever the doubts you may have, it will get clear in the same session itself. Fine? Okay? And you have the session plan also with you now. So accordingly your reading should be also along with the speed of our sessions. Fine, because from time to time we are going to have the tests also. Each module will have 3 tests. So that's why it is advisable that you have the same speed of reading with the session plan also. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. Other students are not interacting. What is the reason? Everything is fine, right? Any doubt you have from today's lecture or any other doubt? Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, regarding the previous papers,
Yes.
so which we should buy for that?
For previous year questions, there is a new Vishal publication. Okay, one option is there, new Vishal publication. There will be small booklet directly enlisting the mains question paper of last 20 years. You can buy that book. Do not buy the book which is having detailed answers. Okay, I am saying just question papers. Okay, so that book is fine. For prelims examination, either you can buy Disha publication book. For prelims last 20 years questions are mentioned there also. Okay, for prelims examination Disha publication is fine. For mains new Vishal publication is fine.
Okay, sir.
Fine? Okay. Yes, any other doubt? Otherwise we can stop.
And for, sir, except for the maps and diagrams, is there any certain book or
Yes.
class you tell us?
Yes, for maps and diagrams, what we are going to do is, I will advise you first thing, the mapping part is through Atlas. So daily reading of Atlas along with these sessions will be advisable. What you can do is buy the Atlas and daily half an hour, in your non-productive, I will say that timetable, half an hour, you can just take one map from that Atlas, any physical Asia map or political Asia map or Africa map, and just observe for half an hour. Just observe which are the hill ranges, are there mountain ranges, rivers, how they are flowing, in which ocean they are flowing into. These aspects should be observed for half an hour on one single map itself. Try to find yourself, try to know about them yourself, mark them, highlight them in that itself. Okay, on daily basis if you do this, after 1 or 2 months complete that book will be completed. From current affairs we are going to take input for mapping section. In addition to this, how to study maps and diagrams, let me also tell you that there is a blank book of maps. There will be blank book of maps for world map as well as for India. You buy those maps or that map book wherein there is completely blank, only outline is there, world map outline or Indian map outline. And in that maps, what we are going to let's say practice from time to time when we are moving towards resources or industries or other features in India or world, we will locate them in those blank map after understanding and let's say map reading. Okay, what we will do, we will locate them. Okay, so Andes are located in these, Rockies are located like this, Alps mountains are located like this particular ocean is this one. In this manner we will try to practice it. We will try to practice it. This is how we can say observation learning and then reproducing on the physical map. Okay, so this is how we will go forward with the mapping part. Okay,
Yes, sir.
anything else?
Sir, and one more doubt.
Yes.
By practicing answers, as you said that we will be having tests.
Hmm.
So how to include the current affairs topics?
Okay, so
Answers.
yes, first of all those tests will be largely based on the basic understanding, not directly current affairs. if suppose some of the question is directly or indirectly relates to current affairs, over the period of time when your notes will be comprehensive and you will revise them again and again, then you will be able to relate those points to those questions. Suppose any question is related to global warming and its impact on glaciers or ice caps of Himalayas. Okay. Now we can understand that how it is impacting the river regimes and river flow of Himalayan rivers from time to time, and these changes these changes in the river regime is leading to untimely floods and droughts in the North Indian plains. So many a times we see in the summer times there is flash flood happening. Recently there was flash flood, if you remember, in Uttarakhand. Do you remember, anyone?
Yes, sir.
So such kind of extreme events are happening, and because of that the events like floods and droughts is becoming a new norm, and this is actually the last part of mains syllabus. Changes in the structures like water bodies, ice caps and their impact. So you should be relating the current affairs, these events that are happening, and to our syllabus or those questions in this manner. But this will happen only when you have sufficient amount of information and you are revising that and continuously brainstorming on how to relate that to syllabus points. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.